Hey everybody, welcome to today's live stream. We're going to do a little bit of blank making. We're going to make some Pinecone ornament blanks. So I just found out, I knew that it was coming up, but I just found out that Chad over at Turner's Warehouse launched their ornament, I guess, contest challenge thing that's going to benefit St. Jude's. And so they did that. They did this last year, and it was a really big event, actually. I don't think that they expected it to be as big as it was last year. This year, it's going to be even bigger. So some of the cool things about this, I don't know all the details because I know that it's started today, basically. I don't know like when it ends and all that kind of stuff, but I do know that the prizes this year are like way better than last year's. So basically the way that this thing works, you make an ornament. You'll physically send the ornament to Turner's Warehouse in Arizona. And then what they're going to do is auction off all of the ornaments, and the proceeds are going to benefit St. Jude's. And then there's also going to be, there's like a contest involved, and I don't know who the judges are this year, but this year they have different categories even. I know that there's like a hybrid one, I think just a wood one, a hollowed ornament thing one, like there's like, and then there's like children, kids, categories and stuff like that. So there's like all these different categories, and there's going to be winners in each category. And what I do know is that they have for prizes so far, and I think there's going to be more coming as they go. They got record power on board, and I don't know for sure, but I think that they're actually going to be giving away a lathe. For whoever wins. I think, let's see, who else was it? They have, now I can't think of any of these. There were some big sponsors. Rycon, they're, I think, giving away a lathe. I don't know. There's like huge, massive prizes this year. So, Easy Wood Tools is on board. I'm doing a $100 gift certificate to my website. And there's more. So, and I think there's going to be more as time goes on. So it's going to be a big event, and they're really trying to make it huge. So I was like, let's get things rolling, and let's make let's make my ornament blank. And what I thought of was, I saw Sam, the Wyoming wood turner. He made a blank, and I've seen Jedrick whatever his 9T or whatever. Just basically use a full pine cone, cast it in resin, and then make like a tree shape out of it. And I thought that'd be really kind of fun. I've never really done that with like a full pine cone. So that's what we're going to be doing, just basically dunking it in a 2-inch PVC pipe and adding resin. So one of them, in my head, I wanted to do a clear and just add some sparkly, like the micro starlight glitter to it. So that's going to be one of them. But I have 3 2-inch PVC pipes. We can make 3 for sure. We might be able to double stack this one, but I was thinking for the other 2, this is where you guys can come up with some really cool ideas for what we do. And we could go transparent, we can add dye, we can add glitter, we can, whatever colors, we can make it solid opaque. So I have 4 pine cones. Like I said, we might be able to kind of double stack this one, but I only have 3 molds. So it's going to be kind of a quick one today, just focusing on that. But I also have, a long time ago, I 3D printed a kind of a weird, funky shape. I mean, this is like years ago at this point, and I've still never cast it. So I thought, why not just toss this in today, because I've been meaning to do it forever, and it'll be kind of a similar type of thing. And this one we can totally get crazy with. I think it'll be kind of fun to see what we can come up with for the resin. So real quick, I want to get a link to, this is where you can find out, let me see here. Hold on real quick, guys. So this is the post. If you want to learn more about the, I need to put this in the description of the video, but for you guys in the chat, that's where you can find out more information about the ornament challenge or contest. I don't know what they're calling it, but the ornament thing at Turner's Warehouse. There's basically, I think this year you need to fill out like a little bit of an entry form. So you can print that out, fill it out, and then send that with your ornament. I think that's just so that they know which ornament is which. But here's another thing that I do know also. So there's all these different categories, and technically, so you can enter 1 ornament per category. So let's say that Julie wants to make a wood ornament as well as a hybrid one. You can enter 1 in each of those categories, and you have a shot of winning in each of those categories, but you can only do one ornament per category. And another thing that I want to mention is I'm not actually participating in the contest thing. I'm a sponsor. I'm also an affiliate for Turner's Warehouse. I don't think that I should be involved in the prizes or anything like that. I think it's better to kind of stay out. However, I am just going to be making an ornament and they're going to auction it off. And if you, for some reason, let's say you wanted to make 10 wooden ornaments, you can, enter the best one into the contest, but you can send however many things you want, and they're going to auction all of them off on their Facebook page. So I just kind of want to mention that kind of thing, little thing. Like I said, you can send anything you want, but the contest is going to be, one entry per category. So, hey, thanks, Julie and Paul too. Yeah, I don't know. I really wish that I had more time to mess with 3D printing. I think that you can do a lot of really cool stuff with it. The problem I have is most of what I want to do is not something that you're going to just go grab from Thingiverse. Like, you need to 3D model the types of things that I want to do, and I don't have time for that. So, and then on top of that, you got to get all the settings and all that stuff for 3D printing. So I have a 3D printer. I just don't really use it because of time. But I appreciate you guys' super chats. So why don't we, let's see here. I'm trying to think how this is all going to work. I need to save some pressure pots because I need to get some blanks made after this. So why don't we do it this way? We know one of these is going to be that clear with micro starlight powder glitter stuff. Just the kind of, let me switch to this view over here so you guys can see. Most of you guys know this is my micro starlight. It's like super fine, kind of like holographic particles. So I just want to add a little bit of that. It'll add some bling in there. And then just basically clear. I just want to kind of see how that looks. And then that might be the one that I make. And so I was thinking I'd probably sell the other ones if people want to buy them. I may make a couple. It kind of depends on how things go. But I'm definitely sending the clear with micro starlight in. That's going to be my ornament. The main one that I'm going to send. But I might do some more stuff, let's see here. Yeah, so we got 2 super chats. Doug was kind of pointing out how it works. So why don't we let, trying to think how, it gets kind of tough because there's lots of options that you can go with. So why don't we do this, especially since those are 2 pretty big super chats. Why don't we let Julie just take charge of the second one? What do you want to see done? So we're just going to shove a pine cone in here. Why don't you tell me what you want me to do? Realistically, that would be the best way to do super chats, is have somebody super chat, and then I can just make blanks. I know it's fun to mix colors if we're doing color swirl, but when you're doing something very specific, it gets kind of hard if you're just throwing a bunch of different ideas out. The 3D printer that I have, I used to have a Cubicon printer. I really didn't want to, I thought that it might be easier to go with that. And it worked pretty good. The thing was, it did its own bed leveling, and it was like a lot of hands off. It was pretty self-contained. The problem is, it's just not a very popular printer. And something went wrong with it. I think I was going to have to order some part, and you could only get it from like Korea. So it just wasn't a good one. I think, and so that one's broken. I actually threw it away at this point, but I have one called, it's called the Pulse, and it's actually made by the folks at Matter Hackers. It's a Prusa i3 type of printer. But Matter Hackers has put on it's like super souped up, and it works really well. My thing is, it was even pretty expensive. And frankly, I think most people at this point, like the Creality printers, I think that's the name. Those are good ones, and they're pretty cheap. I mean, frankly, that's a good way to go. Just get one of the RepRap kind of, whatever. Those things work pretty well. So if you wanted like a suggestion, if you're just getting started, that's probably what I would recommend. The Creality, like an Ender, I think is one of them, and there's a couple different ones. But I would, if you're looking into getting a 3D printer, maybe look at the Creality ones. Let me type that out. I think Chad has one of those, and I know a lot of other people that really, really like them. And the reviews from people that actually do 3D printing like them. They work pretty well. So that would be a good one to look at. All right, so let's see here. Did we get... So what do you want to do with this with your Pinecone blank, Julie? Let me know if you have any ideas. So some thoughts. We could just go with like, you could like add like green dye, just tint the color, and then that's kind of it. We could add a little bit of micro starlight. I have red and green. The holographic glitters. That would be kind of fun. You could add a little white. Trying to think what else. Another way to go is just go with opaque colors. So if you go with a transparent or clear, then you can see through and see kind of the pine cone structure itself a little bit more. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm gonna turn it like a tree shape kind of thing. That's kind of what I had in mind for this. But you know how the pine cones work. You're going to see the leaves. So if you make it all opaque, it'll be kind of like my Alpine pen blanks, where it's all opaque colors pretty much, and then just the leaves kind of pop through on the outside. She likes the long green glitter. Do you want clear resin? Oh, okay. She was asking. Yeah, I have long green glitter, so we can do that. For the second one, clear with long green glitter. Just double check, make sure that that's what you want. And then Paul, and if anybody else wants to get in on the third one, Paul, do you have any ideas for what we can do? And I think what we're going to do is try, I have two kind of shorter pine cones. Well, two of them they're all kind of about the same size, but yeah, that should work pretty well. I don't know if you guys probably can't see that. Let's put on this view. So I think we can just kind of shove two of them in there. I have no clue how much resin to mix up for this. But so the third one, we're going to get kind of two blanks, and they're kind of going to be, fairly similar. Now, here's one thing that I will say about this. We could pour, some resin down in the bottom, shove this down in, and then pour more resin on top. And I think because you have a mass, like we're going to have a pine cone, you're going to get kind of separation. It's going to kind of mix a little bit in the middle, but I think we could effectively kind of get two kind of distinct looking blanks out of this. So we have a little bit more to play with on this one. So let's see here. Long green glitter, Julie's. Okay, so we got that one. Yeah, I actually, you know what, guys? I actually bought some more. I'm really stoked about the. I think these are. Yeah. No, not those. These ones. I think they're spruce cones. So we've been doing those kind of niche. We've been doing the little mini pine cone blank things, and I love these spruce cones. And I actually went out and bought 1,000 of them. So they're, because I don't know where they grow those specifically here. So I just went out and bought some, and it was actually pretty cheap. What was the place that I bought it from? It was a weird, odd thing. So I haven't got it yet. So I'll have to let you know if it was worth it or not. But I think it was like Candles Plus or some. Where did it go? Let me look it up real quick for you guys. I'm just gonna pull it up. Quick Candles, quickcandles.com. They were pretty cheap. I think it was like 1,000 for. What does my order say? Yeah, 1,000 cones. I don't know how much they cost now. Can't remember the price. I swear they were like $15 or something, like for 1,000. So, or 20, something maybe. So if you want to look into that, those things, I really like the shape of them, and a lot of the pine cone blanks that I make use these pine cones, these long ones, and I cut them and we make, they're kind of a long thing in a pen blank. But and the problem is I stabilize them and do all this process. Frankly, the small ones are at least just as cool, if not maybe a little cooler looking, and you can just dry them out and toss them in. Like, frankly, stabilizing pine cones is not really my favorite activity on the planet. So let's see here. Let me scroll up and see if I missed any. Let's see here. Yak's here. What's up, man? And Ted. Awesome. Jen's here too. What's up? Starry shaped ones? That's always fun. Cherry shaped. Oh, cool. Okay, there's Paul. So can we try shades of blue? Blue gradient through the blank. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm guessing that we're going to be doing a graffiti style. The problem with graffiti style is it would probably get pushed around a lot. But I like that idea. So why don't we try this? Let's see here. So let's try a blue gradient in the bottom. And I'm gonna tell people let's cut off the super chats for these. The pine cones are over for super chats. Any new super chats, we'll do some more stuff when we're doing this thing later. But for now, let's just focus on that. So we're gonna do one that's clear with micro starlight, and that's gonna be the one that I had in mind. We're gonna do one that's clear with the green long. This is called tinsel glitter. I get it at Glitter Hippo. For anybody that wants to pick some up. They got all kinds of colors. And this is what I use for my glitter pen blanks. So we'll do that one on the second one. And then the third one, we're going to try and stack. We're going to try and kind of squeeze basically 2 blanks out of this. So the first one, let's try a blue gradient type thing. I'll have to, and I'm guessing that you mean opaque, because I don't know how we're going to get like a, I don't know how we're going to get a different one. And so let me ask you a question, Paul. Are you thinking dyes, like opaque dyes type thing? Or are you thinking, because we could do it 2 different ways. We could go for sparkly stuff. You know, I have different shades of blue with this, mica powders. Or we can try and kind of play around with dyes. I think that's going to be a little bit harder, most likely. So just that question out there. Let me just see if I don't want to miss anything here. TQ Blanks in the house. What's up? Yeah, it's that time of year for collecting. Yeah, the fall is a good time. I got to be honest, it's tough for me because I don't really have time to even get out at all. You know, my biggest problem is, and this is one tip, and I don't do it myself. I need to get in the habit of doing it or think about it and put it in the truck. What you need to do if you're going to collect stuff is you need to have somewhere to put it. The problem is, we live in Tahoe and we go out and hike and do stuff. But the problem is there's a lot of good stuff, especially when you're thinking like pine cones. But man, you do not want to be picking up. They're covered in sap and stuff. And so I'm like, I don't want to do it if we're just out hiking. If I had a bag on hand in the truck or something to put stuff in to collect it, I would probably collect a lot more stuff. So I got to really think about that. So it's a tip for you guys. Toss a bag that you can either clean or you don't care if it gets messed up that you can collect stuff with. It's a good idea. Let's see here. Did I miss it? Where did Paul go? I don't see any other instructions from Paul. So I think the easiest way to go would be to do it with mica powder. I just think that one of the other issue is I'm going to need to do a lot of stuff kind of for this. We're trying to make 2 blanks. So anyway, at the bottom, we're going to try this gradient effect, and let's just go with the micas. I think that's going to be the way that I'm going to have to do this because it's easier. I can just kind of toss the powders in. And then on the top, what we're going to do is we're going to pour clear, and a little bit of it'll bleed down, but I think that the pine cone will kind of keep it from just dumping it out and pushing the resin around. So we'll put clear in, and then we'll add a little bit of some kind of graffiti swirl stuff. Something in there. And then we'll just push the pine cone down. Now the problem is it's going to kind of swirl stuff around, pushing the pine cone down into the swirled graffiti colors already. So we're going to have to be kind of careful. And basically, I think I'm just going to put some on the top and not really move it around much, and then use the pine cone to kind of twirl it. But that's a good idea. I like that one. Blue, but different strengths of the same color. Yeah, we can do that. That's cool. No, let's not get. Don't talk. What you need to do is put at Zach Higgins, and just start typing at and then Z. Don't talk in all caps. That's probably gonna make people crazy. But if you tag me in it, and it'll kind of pop up with a little pre-filled thing. Just click it. Then it highlights it. All right, so I think we're good. So this one I'm going to do, this is going to be separate. So let's see, how's this going to... I don't have enough pressure pots, guys. 230, 330. All right, so these two are actually going to be pretty easy. I'm just thinking about how this is all going to work out. I really can only use 2 pressure pots, so so why don't we start? I think what we're going to do, well, let's get these two, the 2 smaller ones. They're going to be fairly simple. So let's do these 2 together at the same time. So the clear with the micro and then the clear with the green. That'll be pretty simple. Actually, we should probably be able to do 3 of them. I'm just trying to think about how the gradient thing is going to go. I'm going to say right now, I think the gradient thing, that one may or may not work too well. I don't know. It's going to be kind of tough to kind of get it in that kind of gradient effect, I think. But we'll try like 3 kind of different amounts. So if I understand correctly, I think that you're talking about like basically how much powder we put in. So, you know, we'll get like 3 cups, and I don't know how much resin each one of these is going to actually even take. So I think I'll just mix up a lot of resin and then maybe have something ready to go if I have too much. I'm going to get a 1.5 inch pipe ready and just pour off any excess in there. Okay. So we'll just kind of overshoot how much we're doing, mix up a bunch, and then I'll just kind of break out the cups. Now this is going to go extremely fast because we got 12 minutes of working time, and I'm trying to do 4 types. No, this is not going to work, is it? I'm a little worried. I don't know if that's going to work too well. All right, so let's just do it this way. We're going to do these 2 first because I want to make sure that we get these things done right. They're going to be pretty simple. So let me get my book out, switch to this other view, and right here, you can kind of see. So we're going to do the 2 clears with glitters in them first. I just think that I'm biting off more than I can chew if we do anything more. Too complicated. If you get too complicated, you're in for trouble. So today is 9/25. Man, the days, the weeks just keep flying by. I don't know what the deal is. On one hand, it's kind of crazy. On the other hand, I am looking forward to snowboarding season, so it can just keep flying by until we get to the snow, and then it can slow down. All right, so number 1, we're going to do clear and micro starlight. And then number 2 is going to be clear with green tinsel glitter. So I have no clue how much resin we're going to need. So if I was going to try and fill this, you know, 4 inches or something like that, I want to say that it's going to take probably like 200 or 300 grams at least. But we're going to be putting quite a bit of pine cone in, but there is quite a bit of, this looks like it's a lot of material, but there's a lot of airspace in there. So let's just kind of assume that we need like half of what I think we're going to need, you know, half of what we need to fill it up. I'm just going to run some calculations real quick. So this is a 2-inch PVC pipe, so it's 1 squared times 3.14. times, what is that, like 3 or 4 inches or something like that? Let me just measure it so that I'm not just winging it completely. Yeah, like 4 inches. 4 times 0.554 times 29. Yeah, so like 200 grams or so to fill it. I would probably go a little higher than that. So let's just call it 150 for each one of these. And we'll just kind of see how it works. I think that's going to be plenty. So 75 times 2 on each one of those. And then we're just going to add like just a little scoop of micro starlight, just a small scoop is what I'm going to call it. You don't need a lot. You just need a little bit of twinkle in there. And for the green tinsel glitter, let's add a little bit more on that one. I'm going to start with a 1/4 teaspoon. I'll just use that, and we'll just kind of see what it looks like in the cup. All right. So before we get started, I'm going to go and spray these guys with Stoner mold release. I don't want our blanks sticking. Don't need a lot. You just want to make sure you cover it. All the surfaces. Okay, so we got our molds ready, and these little plugs, I actually already have a link in the show notes. These are, you get them at Turner's Warehouse. They have all, like every size you ever needed, like from 1/2 inch up to 4 for PVC pipes. So it's pretty sweet. If you get a centimeter of snow in the UK. You know, that's funny because I used to live in Vegas. Well, I grew up in northern Nevada by Tahoe, so I'm very used to snow. And then I moved down to Vegas for college and for a little bit after that. And oh my God, if it snowed, and it did snow in Vegas sometimes, it was like pandemonium. Literally, I remember watching the news, like we got like a dusting. Like every 3 years, you'll get a dusting in the valley of snow, and it's not a big deal. It's whatever. I just remember the TV, like the news. There was a news anchor, and he was like, you know, he was like in some neighborhood and like reporting about the snow, and he's like, we've been getting reports about snowmen popping up across the valley. I was just like, oh my God, this would never happen in northern Nevada. People get all crazy. All right, so we can just go with one of these cups. So 300, I'm going to mix up 300 grams total for everything, and then break off 150 into this other cup. Zero out. And one thing I want to mention, guys, you might notice I don't have pumps on my Alumilite Clear. And I've decided to, if you don't know, Alumilite, if you go to Alumilite's website, that's where I used to get the pumps. And I have some pumps. I used to buy them like 10 at a time. But if you go there right now, they're like, you can get maybe a pump, and like there's basically a shortage of pumps, and it's because they're being sent to, I guess, hospitals. I don't exactly know where they're going, but there's a shortage of pumps for Alumilite. And so I've kind of decided, because they're harder to get, and they sometimes, you know, with the Alumilite Clear Slow Set or just Clear, the B side, the pump can kind of freeze up on people if you don't use them like daily like I do. So I've just kind of decided I'm going to quit using the pumps because it'll be like I'm doing something that a lot of other people may not be doing, you know. So I just to kind of, if I'm going to do examples, I'd rather just not even use the pumps. So just want to mention that. You don't have to have the pumps. They can be, you know, I kind of liked them, but at the same time, they can be kind of a pain. So I've just decided we're going to go without. We're going to just wing it here. So I need 150 grams of part A. And it's not like it's that big of a deal, you know. The main thing is you really just need to be kind of careful when you're filling the second part in the same cup. You don't want to go over. And so a lot of times what I do is I'll get close, and then when I'm sneaking up on it, I'll just pour a little bit of that part B into a smaller cup, you know, like one of these condiment cups or something, and just kind of sneak up. It's a lot easier than trying to sneak up on something with a gallon jug. All right, so, and then 150 grams of part B. Let's see here. All right, 150. weather's kind of crazy. It dropped and now it's kind of quite nice. It's a little bit warmer, so the shop's a little bit warmer lately. Sometimes you can just sneak up on it and you're lucky, but a lot of times I find I need to I get really close, and then if I make one more pour out of the jug, you know it's going over. Gotta have control. Let's see if I can, oh, I did it, nice. And so I usually add a little bit of extra part B when I'm using Alumilite clear and casting something that's clear. It just helps to make sure that everything comes out dead clear. Sometimes you can get some little kind of white wispiness on the edges. That'll kind of help out. All right, so you don't want to do that with epoxies. So you don't want to do that with Amazing Clear Cast or Liquid Diamonds or any other brand. It's just Alumilite clear and clear slow set. Urethanes. It's specific to urethanes. And it doesn't throw off the ratio. I'm adding just like 1 gram more. It's just kind of a... What you're doing is making sure that the mixture, if for some reason your scale was kind of off or something weird happened, if the mixture ended up part A heavier, somehow there's more part A than part B, it can also cause that kind of white wispiness. So I just always add just a little extra part B just to make sure that that's not going to happen. In the event something crazy happens, you know what I mean? All right. Now, like I said, I've just kind of decided a lot of people do not like the pumps. It is kind of a problem with Alumilite clear slow set with the part B. Like if you're the type of person that only makes blanks maybe once a week or less, or you know, the B side pump can like cake up and it's kind of problematic. Like if I was doing it that way, and I've had them cake up on me, you can clean them with acetone, but that's a pain. So a lot of people just don't use them because of that. So I've just decided, I think that I'm going to going forward, I'm just going to get rid of the pumps. You know, it's an extra expense that you don't need to pay for. And a lot of times they can be more hassle than they're worth. I'm going to do examples, may as well do examples like a lot of people are doing that use Alumilite. All right, so 150. I'm going to pour into here. I have a feeling that we're going to be over anyway, but may as well start even here. Oh, I went a little over on that, but that's okay. All right, so we got our micro starlight. I'm going to actually switch to this overhead camera here. I might actually... Oh, that's good. Okay, cool. That's a good view, I think. So here's the micro starlight. You can get this on my website. It's under the casting supplies menu item. And it's just like a very tiny holographic glitter. And so you don't really need a lot. I'm just adding a little, I call that kind of a small scoop. That ought to be good. And that'll just make, you know, these little things kind of just twinkle. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of twinkling, but for the most part, on this one that I'm making that I have in my mind, I just want the pine cone to be the main attraction for the most part. So hopefully you can see. I don't know if it's getting picked up. I don't know if you guys can really see that or not. There's just a little bit of twinkling going on. All right, so I'm just going to dump that in. I'm going to pour about half or so, something like that, and we're just going to shove a pine cone in and see what happens here. So let's go with one of these larger ones. I think we're going to need more resin than that. Maybe. Put a little bit more. I might overflow this. I don't know. We'll have to see. So I'm just going to shove that down in. Oh, that didn't overflow it. One thing I'm going to do is just kind of roll this around. Try and get some air bubbles untrapped. And then the rest we're just going to pour on the top here. Hopefully I had enough resin. I might have kind of undershot it. Oh, I undershot it, guys. Huh. That's kind of surprising. So we're going to need more resin. I think I can just, I'm going to top it off with this clear. There. So we'll just top that off. I'm going to mix up a little bit more though. I'm just going to kind of try to, without spilling this hopefully, just kind of roll this around, and air bubbles will kind of, hopefully kind of untrap themselves, let's say. So we'll get that one in the pressure pot already. And what I'm going to do real quick is we're just going to mix up another like 60 grams. Because I think I'm going to be under for sure. So let's go 30. Oh, 30, 40. It's okay. A little extra is not going to hurt nothing. And then we'll do 41. Be a little bit more careful. Should have zeroed that out, so we're going to go to 82, 80. There. Okay. Don't worry, guys. I think we're going to be okay. The micro starlight glitter, it stays suspended quite well in Alumilite. Plus, there's pinecone leaves and things that are going to kind of hold on to that. Can be better, especially depending on the resin that you're using. It can be a little better to wait until near the end. You don't necessarily have to wait till like the end of the working time, but wait till the resin starts to kind of heat up a little bit, thicken. That can kind of help you keep those glitter shreds suspended in your resin. All right, so what I'm going to do, we're just topping this cup off. Got a few little wood chunks. Broke off from my popsicle stick. Not a big deal. We're making a pinecone blank anyway. All right, so we'll just kind of mix that up. This one's getting a little bit warm already. So we're going to go with a 1/4 teaspoon of glitter. And we'll just kind of mix that in and see what it looks like. It's a little bit more than 1/4, but you get the idea. We don't want it to be too crazy, I don't think. But I do think a little bit more than that. We'll go with 2 of them. We don't want it to be solid packed. Another trick for using glitters is to load it up. Put a lot of it in there. That way it doesn't have as far to really like sink. I'm thinking that's pretty good. What do you guys think about that? That's pretty good. I like it. All right, so we got our other thingamajig here, our mold. Let's just pour this in. We got a little bit more room to work with on this one, so I'm going to fill it fairly well. It's not going to like overflow on me. I know that. We'll get this other little pinecone guy. Push him down in, and again, I'm going to kind of roll it around. That'll just help big air pockets get out of there. And then we'll just top it off. And I'm going to roll it again. You can kind of tap it too. That'll help. The pressure is going to collapse air bubbles, but it's good to kind of mix, move that resin around a little bit in there. That'll just help ensure that it's filled in all the areas, and it'll also really minimize any air bubbles or pockets that you may get. All right, so I am really glad that we didn't try to do those the other one too. That would have been tragic. All right, so we'll get this guy out of my way. Locked down. And 70 PSI. And we're golden. Now this is one problem that I always run into. I'm going to switch to the other view. Because with this product I usually use the pumps, I always forget to put the cap back on the part B when I'm done pouring it out. So I implore you, make sure you don't forget to put the cap back on because it's not good. You don't want to leave that open. Especially with like urethane resin, I would say is a little bit more sensitive than epoxies probably, but you don't want to do this with any resin, but you don't really want it to be getting exposed to air that much. Minimize that. So let's see here. Yeah, we got the sparkles going. All right, so now we got number 2, and we're going to do a kind of try to do some sort of a gradient effect, and then we're going to do like kind of a graffiti look. Basically just have, it's not going to be the same graffiti thing, you know, because there's going to be a pine cone in there, but there are going to be little swirls of color is what we're going to try and go for in the top half. So it's kind of like we're making 2 different blanks. We'll have to see in, you know, in actuality how this, you know, really works out. And I think what I'd like to do is get both of these in the same pressure pot, but I think that that's just not going to happen. So we're going to do this one only, and I'm going to try and overshoot the resin on this one again. So I'm going to have an extra, and we're going to mix up a lot of extra because I'm going to have another pipe ready. So this one we're doing gradient shades of blue, and then it's going to be like the clear but graffiti effects. So let's see here. Why don't we have, so we have Julie, Paul, and Frank. Why don't you 3 pick a color? Toss it out, and that's going to be our colors for the graffiti effect. We'll do a 3-color graffiti. And you can do whatever color you want. Green, red, and white might not be a bad way to go. Illumilite has brought out the new deep pour, and I should be getting it. I don't know when. I'm a little bit disappointed because there are some people that like don't even have like a YouTube channel that supposedly tested it before it even came out, and I'm a little bit. I knew about it months ago, but I never got any to test. So come on, guys, keep me in. Oh, like Christmas lights on a tree. Oh. Well, let's see here. Yeah, we could do that. So like the blue, orange, I mean just pretty much all the primary colors basically. Blue, orange, green, yellow. Maybe not, maybe yellow. Blue, red. Do they have purple on Christmas lights? Why don't we just do it with our, what are these called? Divine pigments. That'll probably be the easiest way to go. We're not waiting. I was gonna. So Frank wanted graffiti, which it's clear, and then you put colors in. But he expanded on that. So I'm actually retracting that. We're just gonna put a bunch of colors, and we're gonna try to go for like, I don't know how this is gonna work exactly, but like colors of like Christmas lights on the tree. I don't know that this is going to translate like that, but we'll try it out. We'll see what it looks like. So we got orange, blue, green, or orange, blue, red, yellow. Kind of have a normal green. What else? Technically, they do white. The problem is it's going to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, lost that one. 5, 6. White is a color, so we're gonna do what I know that they put white on the Christmas light. I'm thinking the big ones. We always used to have white. So we have a lot of cups. So what I'm going to have to do here for this is, I think we're going to preload the cups with the color, and we don't need a lot. This is kind of tough for such a small project like this, but we're just going to add a little drop of dye in each one of these guys. Oh. All right, so we got our yellow. This one is the jade green. And these are all like pretty much opaque colors, the divine pigments. All right, so Paul wants to just get rid of the gradient. So I'm going to add a little bit more of this dye in each one. We're going to make the whole thing a kind of a graffiti Christmas light. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but it's a good idea. It's a good experiment. So we're just going to dump a bunch of dye in each one of these guys. And we'll have to kind of see. I'm thinking what we're going to need to do also, oh, I don't want to do that, is pour, might have to kind of pour it on the pine cone somewhat, somehow. Oh, that was probably way too much. That's okay. We'll be all right. So we got white, green, red, orange, blue, and yellow. That's pretty good. That looks like Christmas lights. I might be missing one. I don't know. You sold Paul on the Christmas light idea, Frank. He's like, that was a good idea. Let's try it. All right, so let's put our divine pigments back in its cage. I had some sort of a color code of this, but I have no clue what it was now. We're just going to toss them back in. We're good. All right, so this pipe probably needs like, I think I'm going to mix up like 400, maybe even like 500, and just have extra because we do have this other pipe. So let me spray these two with our stoner mold release so that we don't have sticky pipes, sticky blanks. Okay, we got one. Let's get the other one done here. Okay, so we got our pipes ready. We got our little dye cups ready. Let's write down. I'm going to take these gloves off because they got dye. That's the one thing I don't like about the divine pigments. They just are a mess. No matter which kind you get, they are messy. Let's see here. Number 3 is going to be, let's just call it Christmas light graffiti style. And one thing that I forgot to put in these, so we're using 2-inch PVC pipes in slow set clear for all of this. 2-inch. All right, we got the right view on. 2-inch PVC. This is clear. Okay, so we're going to mix up 500 grams total. 250 times 2. And then we're going to break off a bunch of colors, but we don't really need a lot of color here. We don't need 50 grams of resin in each one of these things. So I'm just going to kind of break off 20 grams in each one. Still probably more than we maybe need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're doing white, orange, blue, green, red, and yellow. These are all divine. No clue exactly how much I put in there. We're just trying to go for opaque, basically. So 20 grams in each. That's going to be, how much is that? 120 grams of resin. Yeah, that should be good. I think we're good. Let's give it a whirl and see what we get. I think what I'm going to do, this will give us an opportunity to do a couple of experiments. So why don't I pour the clear resin? We'll actually do it like it's two different blanks. Let's pour clear resin in the bottom here. We'll kind of basically drip some like the colors, and then push the pine cone down in and see how that works. And then on the top one, we'll be able to access it a little bit more, and I can kind of hold it and just put some resin on the pine cone itself, and then put it down in the clear. So let's kind of try two different ways of doing this and see if we get anything different. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, so we got everything. We need 500 grams, 250 times 2. We're probably way overshooting this amount, just to let you know, but that's why I got that extra pipe. Cleaning my cup out here, get some of the extra little shreds of resin on the edge out of there. Yeah, that should be good. All right, so zeroed out, we need 250 grams of part A. $249. Oh, I went over. So we got 252 about. So we're going to put 253 of part B in. Sneaking up on it. Okay, I think I actually snuck. I snuck well. Okay, so we got our resin here. Let's mix it up. Let's get things rolling. I see that Doug super chatted. We're already the colors are closed on this one, so that'll have to go towards the 3D print. Oh, where are we at? Which camera are we on? That one. All right. The 3D print thing. And I have no clue what I don't even have an idea of what to make with this blank, that 3D print thing. I just wanted to kind of see if I 3D print a weird kind of shape with holes and curves and stuff, what does it look like? You know. You get the big one, yes. Okay, so we're ready to rock and roll here. I'm going to move this thing out of the way, because I know what we're doing now. I got to get some more little wipies. So I'm just going to wing it with these. I don't care if I have 20 grams exactly. We're just going to kind of, let's measure one so I kind of have an idea of what I'm looking at amount wise. But I don't think I really care that much. So that was 25, 24. So less than that, basically. That was a lot right there. Okay, so that's close enough. All right, so I'm going to get little sticks for all these guys. We're going to mix in our dyes. Can you guys see? I'm going to switch to this view. This one. Oh, yeah, look at that. Okay, so we got our white. Okay, we got some orange. Now, one thing to keep in mind if you're doing dye colors like this, white is way heavier than all the rest of them, and it's way heavier than the resin. So it's going to want to just sink like a rock, okay, compared to the other ones that will just kind of float around. So if you're going to be doing stuff where you're adding lots of colors, like let's say for like the graffiti blanks, you're better off putting the, adding the white to the mix like last, because it's going to kind of pull everything down with it. If you do it first, it's probably just all going to kind of settle out on the bottom. And another thing is you kind of want to wait till the end of the working time if you were just making graffiti blanks. We don't really have that luxury exactly with this because we're going to be doing, this isn't the most ideal thing having 2 blanks. I would probably wait a little bit. If I was just making the first one that we're doing on the bottom, I would probably wait till the end of the working time, then add the stuff and then push it down in so it doesn't really move as much. The weight sinking issue isn't gonna be as much of a factor. But in this case, we're doing lots of stuff, and I don't know how much difference it's gonna really make in the end anyway. So we're gonna do that one first, and then we'll try the kind of like add little blobs to the pinecone leaves to try and make like light looking stuff. I don't know how it's going to work. That's why we experiment. This green isn't very it's not very opaque. I'm going to add a little bit more of this dye and see if we can make it a little bit more. Another way that you can make things more opaque is, yeah, that helped a lot. You can add white dye to it, but it will lighten the color a little bit. So, don't think I want to do that with this one. That's better. Yep, that's good. Most of these are very opaque, the dyes, and white's definitely opaque. No questions. Okay, so here we go. We're going to pour in, let's see here. We're going to pour in, I guess, just go for like, almost about half the pipe here, sort of. Let's call that good. And then the tough thing is we're going to be kind of dropping this from pretty high. So we're going to go a little bit of green. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to do the white last, like take my own advice. Yellow. Blue. Can you guys see what's happening here? Orange. Red. And then white. Okay, so let's push our first pine cone. I'm going to use the kind of shorter one. I'm just going to let this guy kind of go. No, there's not very good lighting here. That's not a very good angle for you guys. I'm gonna switch to the other one. Oh, not that one. This one. You can kind of see it. It's just kind of, who knows? It's kind of stuck. I'm gonna push it down a little bit here. I don't think it did what we wanted it to, but it is pretty interesting. Okay, so that's down to the bottom. So then now I'm going to pour, and I'm going to try and pour this onto the pine cone part in the middle. So we kind of get just a big separated layer. Yeah, I'm just going to keep going here. And then what I'm going to do, we're going to stop there. So what I had in mind for this, oh, it is kind of coming up a little bit. That's interesting. Is to just kind of dribble some colors around. Now, the problem is I don't have a whole lot of time to be messing with this, but we'll just do a little bit of each color here and there. I guess one of the things that I'm thinking of is you're going to be turning this, so I don't know how this is all going to work. This might be better as like a diorama type thing where you don't cut into it. Okay, so we got some yellow in there. Let's get some green. Okay, we got some orange coming. And some red. It's starting to get kind of warm. And some white. Let's see if I can just grab that by the tip there. I know you guys can't really see what I'm doing on this side, but got to kind of move quick. All right, we got color all over this thing. I don't know if that's what you had in mind, but it's looking pretty cool so far. So let's just push this down in. Okay, now I am going to have to pour. It might have been better to kind of pour more of it earlier. Stuff is pretty thick. Dang, we used almost all of it. All right, I got to get this in the pressure pot. It is ready. And we're going to waste the other resin, but it's just something that sometimes you have to. I don't want to put it in that one. I want to put it in this one. Okay, I think we're good. That'll be interesting. We'll have to see how that thing turns out. I'm hoping that we get two kind of distinct things there, at least somewhat. I couldn't really see what all was going on with it, but curious about, now another way to do that is you could, you know, basically paint on little Christmas lights on your pine cone even with just paint, you know, if you wanted, or kind of like this with resin. Beforehand, let it kind of cure, or at least pretty much set up, and then, you know, then cast it. You can be you don't have to hurry. You could be a little bit more, you know, careful and specific about how you're, you know, making those colors, what they look like on the pine cone. Whew! So that was pretty cool. What do you think? Gold or gold glitter to Doug. Sweet. All right, so I'm just going to switch to this view real quick, guys. The main view there. All right, so I'm going to wipe off my stir stick real quick with some acetone. That way it's ready to rock when I am. Let's see if I missed anything. Still have a working 4-track. And I didn't even know they had a 4-track. Wow. I've heard of 8 tracks. Didn't know about the 4 though. All right, so the last one is gonna have Doug's mix. I'm gonna toss these colors because they're setting up, and we missed our opportunity with them. But they did their job. Okay, put my popsicle sticks back, wipe my finger off here. So we're going to be doing a 3D print. I printed this out, and it's just a weird object. I think that I don't think I made that design. I think I just downloaded it from Thingiverse or one of those. And then just kind of fit it. I did know that I wanted to, you know, cast that in a 3-inch PVC pipe, so I just, you know, altered the size. So we're going to cast that 3-inch PVC pipe, and we got Doug wants mostly clear with antique copper and pewter, and then Jen wants a little bit of gold glitter. So I do have gold glitter. I got the long shreds of gold, if that sounds good to you. I don't think I have any other. Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. I do have another option, I think. Hold on. I gotta find it. I got all kinds of glitters. Where is that? It's not a fine glitter. It's kind of a chunky. Yeah. Okay, so here's your options. I couldn't tell you how this other one works. So your options are, we can go with either this one. What's this one called? Scarecrow hair. So that's like the tinsel glitter. And then I have this stuff called Golden Reverie. And they're just like kind of like chunks, flakes of it. So either one of those will work pretty good. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, it kind of does resemble. It reminds me of Choya too. Actually, that would be pretty cool to be, like 3D print Choya stuff. That would be pretty interesting. Never thought about that. You know who could probably do it is what's her name? Can't think of her name right now. I just totally went blank on her name. But she does really good 3D printing stuff. She's the ones that made the dog bones. I just totally, you know, like when you're thinking of somebody's name and then you're like, and then you say it and then it just evaporates. That's what just happened. I hate it when that happens. Brains are silly. Not the hairy glitter. Okay. Well, it's not hairy. It's just called Scarecrow hair. But it's the tinsel. So I'm guessing not the tinsel. The chonky. Okay, so let's see here. First things first, let's get this thing sprayed so I don't have to worry about that. Okay, and again, these plugs are awesome, and you can get them at Turner's Warehouse. You just pop right in, you're good to go. One thing, especially on the larger ones, probably not a bad idea to put something under it, or like use there's a couple different ways you could do this. I'd say the easiest way is to just, when you're going to move it, put it on a platform like this. Another way that works quite well if you don't have one of those things is just grab a piece of HDPE and then put it on there. And actually this isn't a bad way to go, to just work with it on there. And then that way you can pick up the base and even put that on your rack. Or you could just grab that piece and stick it in the pot. So either way, I'm going to keep my rack out, but I'm going to work on, this thing. So let's get our little work area set up here. I don't know if that thing's going to float. I don't think it will, but it is something to keep in mind. It could float. So this 3-inch PVC pipe is probably going to take, I'm just going to run through the calculation on it. I don't know. I want to say 600 grams probably is about close. But I'm just going to run the calculation. You can find a volume calculator on Alumilite's website. Just type in Google Alumilite volume calculator. But basically the formula is pi r squared. So the radius of this, it's a 3-inch PVC pipe. So 1.5 times 1.5 times 3.14. That's your pi r squared, and then times it by, I think it's about 6 inches. And then you multiply that by a factor 0.554. And then I'm going to multiply it by a factor to convert it to grams by times 29 or so. Yeah, so it says 681. This is going to take up some of that volume. So let's just do 640 and just probably call it good. 640. And so the way this is going to work is the majority of it's going to be clear. So we're just going to break off a little bit of copper and pewter, yakinum if you're if you're old school, and then we'll add a little bit of the gold glitter to the clear. All right, so that's going to be the additive in the clear, and then the other stuff we'll just break off into small cups and just add some swirls to it. So it should be a pretty straightforward casting, not too crazy. I think I got dyes and goop all over the place. I'm going to do my writing over here. I'm going to rip open this bag. It's brand new. Get our glitter ready. Okay, so and I'm going to switch to this other overhead-ish camera. So you can, oh, that's not the right. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Okay. So that's what it looks like. Pretty cool stuff. Just like gold flakes. I grabbed some of this to see how it would work as, like as compared to like the gilding flakes. This stuff is better if you want gilding flakes, but this stuff is a pain to use. The actual gilding things. It's just, it gets everywhere. I really don't like messing with it. But it definitely, if that's the look you're going for, then you're going to have to use that stuff. So, and this I did a test, and it didn't really look like that, I didn't think. Let's see here. Okay. So, I'm going to switch to the little bit brighter view there. Let's get this thing out of the way so you don't have to look at that. We got our little thing here. I'm not going to warm it up. I don't know if it would help tremendously or not, so we're just not going to mess with it. I'm going to get this one ready. And let's see here. All right, so let's start writing our notes. So number 4, and this is just a fun one. This is just something I thought we'd throw in since I knew that the other ones were going to probably go fairly quick with the pine cones. Probably not going to make an ornament or anything out of this. Not sure what I'm going to make out of it, really. So let's see here. So 3D print. We're going to use the 3-inch PVC pipe and slow set clear again. One of these days I do want to play around with the amazing Clearcast Plus stuff. Probably just give it a shot. I don't like the amazing Clearcast. It's so thick that it's just a pain to use for just regular casting stuff. What I'm trying to still figure out is how to mount a rotisserie motor to get it to turn my lathe spindle very slow, like one or two RPMs. And I want to use the amazing Clearcast Plus to do like basically as like a finish on top of pieces. I'd much rather use Alumilite Clear slow set to cast and do stuff, especially for larger projects. You can't even use the Plus or any of the amazing Clearcast products. But Clear Slow I love for larger things. I'd rather use that and then coat it with the ACC Plus because it's got the UV protection. And it's a thicker, I actually think that thickness to it probably works pretty well if you're trying to just put it like a finish on. But you need to keep it going very slow like the cup turners do, the tumbler people. Those things, that's what they're basically using is a rotisserie. And it just needs to keep moving so it doesn't drip. But 50 RPMs is the slowest my lathe will go, and that's way too fast. It ends up pushing the finish or the resin one way or the other on your blank. It doesn't work. So that's a lot of talk. So let's see here. So we're going to do is 640. So 320. Is that right? I just want to double check my math. I never rely on myself. Yeah, 320 times 2. And then we're going to split out. So clear, we're going to use like, the majority of it's going to be clear. We're going to split out, we probably really only need about, let's just say 20 grams of each of the pewter and antique copper. And then so 600 grams is going to be the clear. Okay, in the end. So we got our little cups ready to break out the colors. And I need a big cup. Now I need a big cup. I'm going to get a new one. Okay, here we go. Zeroed out. And in my notes, clear plus gold glitter chunky. Okay, we're ready to rock now, guys. How much? 320. Ooh, 317. Oh, I went over. So I went over, but we're still using the only the part A. So I'm going to put a little bit back because I don't think I need to be over on this one. And this cup is definitely clean, so I don't have a problem pouring it back into the jug. You got to kind of be careful with that. You don't want to contaminate the entire jug by pouring resin back in, And you definitely don't want to do it after you've poured the part A and part B in one cup, then you're in for some serious problems. But it's okay as long as everything's clean on that first one. All right, so I'm just gonna get me some little doohickeys there. So I'm gonna zero that out. We're gonna add a little extra. We're gonna go 322 grams actually. Add a little extra part B. All right, actually it did good, 321.9. All right, and I'm covering the cap. Always remember to cover your caps. Cover the jugs. Put the cap back on it. Calibrated arm. Yeah. Well, you know, actually, I mean, I actually don't pour. I usually use the pumps all the time for clear. I do pour out of the jugs when I'm using the Alumilite white, so that one is pretty calibrated. But and the kind of the reason for that is the part B with Alumilite white is literally water thin, and pouring it through those, or like, you know, doing it through the pumps, it just splashes everywhere. So I gave up on pumps with that stuff a long time ago. And I actually I totally do things totally different when it comes to Alumilite white resin. But so I'm kind of getting used to the clear slow, you know, pouring out Alumilite clear out of the jug. But I'll tell you what, if you're pouring a large blank, a lot of resin, the pumps are really kind of a pain. So the pumps worked pretty well for me when most of what I did, you know, was maybe this, you know, size total. And I usually didn't even do this much of it. As long as you're somewhere, you know, 600 grams or below, the pumps weren't, you know, crazy. And I knew exactly, you know, I used them. I knew what to expect with each pump. But now that things are, you know, if they're going to get harder to find, then it's kind of, I had already kind of thought about just stopping paying for the things anyway, when there was, you know, because of the shortage. But the more I started thinking about it, I'd rather just, if I'm doing like a demo type thing, I think I'd rather just do it how a lot of people are probably doing it at home. There's not, I don't know that I recommend the pumps to people that are not going to use them daily, mainly because that part B one, it just clogs up, and it's basically, you know, you have to like soak it in acetone or just get a new one, which is a waste of money. So figured I'd just do it this way. Let's just go with the jugs. It's not that difficult. It works fine. And in some cases it actually works better. So, you know, you always got to kind of think and change, you know, as you go along. Sometimes things get outmoded, you know, outdated. Live in the now, man. So I'm just going to kind of, I don't know, we're just estimating here. In fact, I poured way too much in this first one. We don't really need a whole lot. We're going with just a little bit of color. Maybe just a little bit more in the other one, though. Okay, I'm happy with that now. So we're going to use pewter and antique gold. So we're using the Illumidust pewter, cast of choice antique gold. And we're doing how much? What are we going to do? I'm going to go with an 1/8 teaspoon of each of these. Probably didn't need that much, but whatever. Not going to make that much difference. All right, so we got an 1/8 teaspoon. I need to write that down in my notebook. That's what I did. Again, not that important, but good to have a record of what you actually did. Okay, and we need to add our glitter. So let's go with, I think that we want to be able to kind of see. So let's just add a teaspoon. We're going to add a teaspoon, and we're just going to see how that looks. So teaspoon of these gold flakes. So here's our teaspoon. I'm not going to go overboard with it. Just 1 teaspoon. I think that'll be plenty. Let me write that down in our notes too. Okay, so let's move over here so you can see what's happening a little bit. Oh yeah, I think that'll be pretty good. I think that's looking pretty good. Let's, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the camera a little bit further out here. Move it in, and then kind of angle it like directly down more. See how that works. See how that works. I kind of like that a little better. What do you guys think? Now you can see what it's looking like inside. Looking pretty good. Got a good amount in each one. And then we've got our pewter. Okay. And we've got some antique copper. Let's see, do I have, I do. We're going to try something today. I had forgotten that I bought these syringes a long time ago. Where are we at here? Let's try and syringe it down in. What do you guys think? All right, so I'm going to actually switch back to the other view for now. Not that one. That's not the right one. Okay, so we're going to switch to this view. You guys can see the thing somewhat. I'm going to bring you guys in a little bit closer. Like right there. Okay. So now you can see what I'm doing. Basically, I'm just dropping this guy in. And we're going to pour our gold. I'm going to pour it all in. I'm not going to fill it totally. So we're going to be adding a little bit more. So let's hope that these little syringes work. And I think we're going to switch back to the other camera view now. Hopefully, I'm going to have to kind of move stuff around here. Okay. Make sure our micas are stirred up well. So let's see how this works. I bought these syringes forever and a day ago. Oh yeah. Did you see that? I sucked it right in there. And then I'm actually going to wipe it off a little bit, so we don't trail it all over the place. And then now I actually want to switch to this view again. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not very well. We're going to shove this down in there. It's a little bit harder with this structure 3D printed thing in here, but I can't see what I'm doing, so. Oh, that didn't work so well. Got a little bit in there. I haven't used these syringes much, so I don't really know what the tricks and all that kind of good stuff are with these. I'm going to suck it up. The idea is that way you can get it down into resin without it getting kind of pushed all over the place. The problem is they don't really plunge. Kind of sticky. That was less than awesome. So far, I really haven't been super impressed with I've used syringes a few times and I'm like, it just doesn't seem to work the way that I have in my head. So we got some blobs down in there. That was a little bit better. But we just have these little kind of trails. It's not really, I don't know. So the alternative, so I'm kind of over those things. That didn't work very awesome. The other way to do this is you just basically can kind of pour it in, and you can kind of like dive bomb it. And then what I would do is just you can kind of push it around down in there. And we can kind of just stir this whole thing a little bit. But I've found it's just almost easier just to kind of push the things around a little bit, and, you know, I don't know. It's kind of hard to do all this with that thing in the middle too. This type of thing would probably be a little bit easier to do on, like, let's say just like a hybrid blank where you just have kind of like wood on one side and the rest of it is open, and you can kind of create whatever kind of swirly patterns and stuff that you want. Makes it a little bit easier, but you guys get the idea. I know a lot of people do use the syringes. I think Scott Grove uses them quite a bit. And some of the other channels, I've seen people do stuff like that, but I don't really have a lot of experience, and I'm always like, when I do use it, I'm like, well, whatever. Okay. All right, so, and then what I'm going to do is we're going to put this guy on our, let's move you guys back a little bit at this point. Ooh, right there. It's kind of bouncy, sorry about that. But I'm just going to put this on our rack. And then pick it up and pop it in the pressure pot. All right, so we'll have to see how that turns out. I don't know. I was paying more attention to just trying to get that syringe to work. I don't exactly know what I did there. It'll be kind of interesting to see, though. I don't know. Like I said, I don't even really have plans for that blank or anything. Nothing in mind. Who knows? Maybe Doug will get a Christmas present. Maybe Jen. I don't know. We'll have to see. All right, and we got it all pumped up. I'm going to clean off before we move on here. I'm going to clean off my mixing stick so that it's ready to rock and roll next time I want to use it. I just wipe it off, get all the resin off, and then I just hit it with, I need to pre-make some more of these little rags. I just take a rag, take some acetone, and just wipe it off to make sure that we've gotten all the resin off of there. I find it's easier to clean these guys, like, you know, while the resin's still wet, you know, or whatever, still liquidy. Otherwise, you have to wait. Like, I would really want to wait until like the next day and then pop off the resin off of it. So I'd rather just be ready to rock and roll right away. I don't want to get the sticky fingers there. You heard that? Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, I tried twisting the 3D thing, and I don't know. It was, who knows? I don't know. Did I miss anything over here? No. Okay. So anyway, so I'm excited to see how the ornaments turn out. And again, the whole idea with this thing is last year, Chad over at Turner's Warehouse started up this ornament challenge. It's like a contest thing, but I apologize for you guys that have. Peter Brown is here. What's up, man? I never had Peter Brown at my live stream before. Bop it. Nice. Flavor injector. Welcome to the stream. But anyway, so these, I apologize if you guys have already heard the spiel, but Turner's Warehouse is doing their second annual ornament challenge. And so basically the way it works is you're going to make an ornament, and you're gonna physically ship the thing to Turner's Warehouse in Arizona. And then there's a little entry form thing you fill out. But you'll ship it to them, and they're going to auction off all the ornaments that they get sent in on their Facebook page, and all of the proceeds of those auctions are going to St. Jude's. So awesome, you know, cause obviously, but it's a really fun, you know, I know there's a lot of ornament like kind of challenge things. I know Carl and Carl does one. I can't remember him and someone else. So there's lots of these things, but Chad started up last year, and it went over really well. Like, I think they got a lot more ornaments than they thought they were. You know, they thought it was just going to be kind of a small thing, and a lot of people did it. So this year, they've ramped it up. Like, there are some serious prizes. I think they're So Record Power and Rikon and Easywood Tools are the three big sponsors that I know of right now. And from what I understand, I'm pretty sure Rikon's given away a lathe, like a full-on like lathe. And I do think, they haven't said it yet, but I think Record Power is as well. All right, so, and then you got Easywood Tools, they're giving away a big prize pack. I'm giving away a $100 gift card. And so the way it works, there's different categories, and you pick, whatever category. I know just a couple off the top of my head. There's like a couple kids categories. So obviously if you're over 17, you can't do that one, but there's wood. I think there's like a hybrid resin and wood or stuff, hybrid one. There's like a hollowed ornament one and like one or two others. And so you can enter one ornament into each one of those categories. Each person can. So only one per category, but you can enter into all the different categories. And then also if you want to make extras, you can send them as many as you want. You can only enter one to get entered into the contest to see who wins like the best. I don't know who's judging them, but it'll be a judged thing, and whoever, the best ornament in each category is going to win prizes. But if you just want to send a bunch of ornaments, they will gladly accept as many as you can send them and auction them off. All of that money is going to go to charity. So pretty awesome one. So this time I'm going to do one of those Pinecone blanks. We'll see how everything works. I'm not sure if I maybe want to, if there's interest in people, buying the other ones, I might sell them. Otherwise, I may just turn them all and send them all down. I am not going to be I'm not entering the contest itself because I'm an affiliate for Turner's Warehouse. I don't really need to win prizes anyway. So I'm just going to send them down myself. But if you want to get more info, there's a little sheet that you're going to download and fill out that you're going to send with it. So all that information is at this link. I need to remember to put this in the show notes, but for you guys in the chat, head over there. It's over on the Turner's Warehouse Facebook page. And so all the info, Chad actually did a little video. So from what I also understand, I'm pretty sure that they're going to be keeping, other companies are going to get on board for prizes. So I think that there's a good chance of winning a lot of prizes. But the big thing is we want to make sure that you guys share this, get an ornament in, share with your friends, tell people to send them in so that we can raise lots of money. I know that they raised a good amount last year, and it was like, oh yeah, I guess it was like a last minute thing. And so this year there's a little bit more planning, some serious prizes involved. Hopefully we can raise a ton of money this year. So I'm excited about it. So hopefully Peter Brown will send one in. That thing will go for a lot of money, I bet, if you make one and send one in. On the spot. Sorry, buddy. So anyway, that's all I got. One thing I did forget to kind of show you guys, if you missed last on the Wednesday stream, here's the bottle stopper that I made, just in case you didn't see. It actually turned out really good. It's got that packing material stuff. I don't know where I gotta find the camera here. There we go. It's got that packing material in it, and it turned out great. I'm really happy with the polish I got on this too. So that live stream replay's up if you want to check that out. And then the last thing that I want to say, I know I'm just doing all these promotions, but they're mostly good. So the last thing is the Star Wars X-Wing Sphere auction that I'm doing for MS Society. That auction is ending on Sunday at like 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. So make sure if you want to get your bids in, it's already up over $1,000, the bids. So it's pretty crazy. I understand, like most people are like, oh, that's out of my price range. I know it'd be out of mine, but if it's not out of your price range and you want to snag that thing, I'm waiting to see if the bids, like if there's like a bidding war at the end. I mean, the number's so high, and it's been there it started out up way high like the first day. So anyway, that's going to be, make sure to get your bids in on Sunday before the auction ends. And pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited. So I appreciate you guys all joining the fun tonight, coming out, hanging out. Really big thank you to everybody that super chatted and picked some awesome colors and mixtures for these blanks. I had a blast making these. I can't wait to see how they turn out. I'll probably fire up a stream tomorrow, just a quick one for like the demolding of all of them. So be looking for that. I don't have a set time for that, so kind of keep an eye on Instagram and your YouTube notifications. I'll probably let you guys know. I'll try to let you guys know as early as I can, but a lot of times it's like 30 minutes before I fire it up. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Let me just stop real quick and make sure I didn't miss any questions or anything anything going like that. Yeah, it's at 1,069. Yeah, I've said this, all of the regulars know that I've said this before. Like when I went into it, I knew that Scott, who's the master at making these X-Wing spheres, I think he sold one, his auction, I think was like for 850 or something like that. I was like, man, if I can make half that, I'm going to be happy. So I'm overjoyed that I can't believe I'm beating his auction, although mine's been going for 2 weeks too. So his was like 24 hours. So anyway, let's scroll up real quick. Big thank you to Peter Brown for joining the fun. Thanks for coming out, man. I appreciate it. And let's see here. I don't think I missed any questions. So anyway, guys, so I'll be looking for a stream. It'll be kind of an impromptu, probably in the afternoon, my Pacific time afternoon time, like 1 or 2. We'll demold these and see how they look. If you missed that, it'll be a replay, but I'll be posting pics as well. So be looking for that. But I hope you guys have a great evening, have a great weekend, get in the shop and make something fun. And Sunday, like I said, auction's ending, and that auction is, let me go grab the link. And if you want to share with your rich buddies that like Star Wars stuff, let me do that real quick. And I'm going to pull this up and put it in the show notes as well. It would probably help for you guys to be able to actually find the auction. So you just leave a comment with whatever your bid is, and whoever's got the highest one wins the sphere. Whoever has the highest bid and pays me, or I'm not sure how we're collecting the money yet, but there's a link to the post. So you just enter your bid in that post, and we'll see what happens on Sunday. I'm also going to be editing and getting the first Friday Patreon stream, the demo part of that'll be coming out on Sunday if you want to watch that replay. So anyway, guys, have a wonderful evening. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow while we demold these.